These mini holiday stockings are a great stash buster and really quick to make. Welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jen. This channel is all about making sewing and crafts fun and approachable. We are getting into the holiday season with dedicated sew-along videos. These are fast, easy projects geared towards beginners. This one can be incorporated into your Christmas decor and to put small gifts inside. Mine are sewn with prints from the Peppermint fabric collection, which you can get as part of my holiday sewing kit, available on Etsy. First, download the free stocking pattern off sewingreport.com. Print out at the actual size of 100%. There are 3 pieces: the main stocking piece, accent cuff, and lining. Cut out the pattern pieces. You'll need to trace and cut 2 of each piece. It's important that the curved pieces are mirrored. That means with fabric right sides together, they should match up. The Sewing Report Holiday Kit includes a fat quarter bundle of 3 peppermint prints, and there's definitely enough material to make this project, along with some white or cream fabric. You can also add a hanging loop with 1/4-inch twill tape, ribbon, or bias tape, 3.5 inches per stocking. I'll also be showing how to incorporate mini pom-pom trim. I recommend having about 9 inches total. Line up the main piece and the accent cuff with the pom-pom trim. To hold the trim in place, I used Elmer's washable school glue in a fine tip bottle and let it dry for a bit. Then I run another line of glue on top of the trim. Lay the accent cuff piece right side down and press it all together. To speed things up, you can hit it with a dry iron. Here are my sewing machine settings on the Brother CS7000i. The seam allowance is a bit over 1/4 inch, and I've got the walking foot on, which helps when sewing layers or bulky projects. I find it easier to sew over the trim by pressing it down as it gets closer to the presser foot. Press the cuff open with the seam allowance pointed up. Now we'll be top stitching with a 3.0 stitch length a little under 1/4 inch from the fold, which I lined up to the outer metal guide. Cut the twill tape or ribbon to 3.5 inches and fold in half. A dab of glue can be applied to hold it together. In order to make sure the hanging loop is on the back of the stocking, I glue basted it upside down on the right facing piece. To account for the seam allowance, I moved it in far enough where it will clear 1/4 inch. Line up the short ends of the main and lining pieces with the foot part of the stocking on the same side. Pin or glue baste right sides together. Back at the sewing machine, stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you're new to sewing, I recommend you watch my Learn to Sew playlist to nail down the basics. On a pressing board, lay out the pieces like this, one with the main fabric on top, the other with the lining on top. I want the seam allowances to be pressed open in opposite directions to nest the seams. Lay out the stocking pieces so they mirror each other. Place right sides together and glue baste or pin. My best tip here is to start with the spots with a seam and work your way out to the other areas. I found this method produces the most accurate piecing. On the longest straight side of the lining, I marked about a 4-inch section to leave open for turning later. You will not be sewing this portion. Because the seams are pressed in the opposite direction, when sewn, the bulk will be distributed more evenly. Backstitching at the beginning and end, sew all the way around the stocking with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. My start and stopping points were the marks I drew in order to leave the opening. Going over the pom-pom trim may be a little tricky. Press it down as much as you can. With the curves, it's best to lift the presser foot and shift the material as you sew. But don't forget to put it back down. Sewing with the presser foot up is not a good thing. I had to learn this the hard way, but you're gonna want to trim the seam allowance down, preferably with pinking shears. Skip the section where the lining opening is because you will want to keep that fabric intact. Cut close to the stitch line, but be careful not to cut through the stitch line. Through that opening, gently turn the entire project right side out. Press out the stocking the best you can and fold in the raw edges of the opening. Glue baste or pin the opening closed. For the last step at the sewing machine will be edge stitching to close up the gap. Here are my settings. Back stitch at the beginning and end. I made 2 stockings using different prints. Push the lining into the main portion of the stocking. Using a point turner or a chopstick can help press out the project for a neater finish. Another thing I did was spritz some water on the fabric and ironed the stocking to get out the wrinkles from turning. It can be a little tedious, but worth it to get a better looking stocking. And of course, we gotta show them in the cliche holiday lifestyle inspo shot. I set up my Christmas tree in September just for stuff like this. These mini stockings are ideal for decorating small spaces like apartments. Use them as ornaments and put treats or trinkets inside. Hint, I checked and gift cards do fit. And we seem to be on a roll here, but yes, they do also work as reusable gift bags. The flickering lights on the tree make me feel like I'm at a rave, even though I've never actually been to one. And if you're just joining in, there are other video tutorials available as part of the holiday sew-along. There's also a companion kit offered in the Sewing Report Etsy shop. You can find the link to buy one down below in the description box. It features the FIGO Fabrics Peppermint collection, a really cute Christmas-themed line by designer Dana Willard. The kit includes already cut out pieces to make 2 drawstring bags, a giant scrunchie, some extra supplies, and a fat quarter bundle of the 3 peppermint prints. Now there are a limited number of holiday sewing kits available for shipping within the US. When they're gone, they're gone. Come join me for some Christmas cheer and let's get sewing. Stay tuned for more holiday videos. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the Sewing Report, and hit that notification bell. I'm Jen with the Sewing Report. I'll see you guys again in the next video. And remember, whatever you're doing, make it fun.